Jai Hind everyone, welcome back to the Patriotic IS. Now we will start our IS pieces wala daily current affairs analysis. We have three topics that we will discuss one by one. The these three topics, they are the most relevant. Otherwise, other topics, they are relevant, but there are the repetition of the topics, and that's why we will focus on these three topics. We will cover the other topic as well. However, the focus area will be these three topics. The recent study that has been found that the microplastic that has been found into the fish sage into the Ashtamundi Lake. So Ashtamundi Lake, where it is, it will be for the prelims and the impact of this microplastic and how it is impacting the fish and overall environment. This will be, we will take it under the mains. So both, this will be from the GS paper 3, and the section is environment. Then we will study an absconding MP, the colossal failure of the system. Colossal failure means a very high failure. काफ़ी एक हाई अमाउंट का जो होता है कि एकदम फेल्ड हो गए, बिकॉज देयर वाज द 100 ऑफ द वीमेन दोज हु हैव बीन एक्सप्लॉइटेड एंड सेक्सुअली असोल्टेड. 3 साल का टाइम हो गया फ्रॉम द 2021. 3 साल 4 साल में देयर वाज द नॉट ए सिंगल केस हैज बीन रजिस्टर्ड. ऐसा तो है नहीं कि वीमेन्स हैव नॉट बीन गॉन टू द पुलिस स्टेशन फॉर द रजिस्ट्रेशन ऑफ द कंप्लेन FIR. They must have been gone, but they have been suppressed because of the political power of the person involved in these cases. This is the main reason. And you will see that the such type of the thing happens due to the power politics. We again and again we say that the muscles power, and this is the example of the muscle power. You will see that the one person got the diplomatic immunity, diplomatic passport, and the police doesn't give the notice to the department authority of the airport authority or any other authority to arrest the person. The person was avoiding and he escaped in a very easy manner because he has the political power, and here you will see that all this analysis. Besides that, the most important thing about this news analysis is the Interpol, and the Interpol, there is the notices, and the notices in the form of the different colors such as the yellow color, green color, red color. Here you will see that the blue consort notice has been declared instead of the red consort notice. Why? Because of the political power. Generally the heinous crime in such cases, the into the red consort notice, they are for the arrest, but for the this blue consort notice, they are for the just knowing the location activity of those person who are involved into that absconding person who are involved in such crime. So here you will see that the violation, so blue consort notice, red consort notice, all that we will study under this. So it will be for the GS paper 2, okay, as well as GS paper 1, GS paper 1 as well. The nature of the society, how the power politics is going on, okay. Mainly it will be for the GS paper 2 with respect to the Interpol, okay, and the GS paper 2 again for the muscle power into the politics and the society, the impact of the into the society, how the power politics interact, okay. The last we will see that a visit to the preserve the China's interest into the Europe. Again, this will be from the GS paper 2 international relation, particularly the global world order. Okay, global world order. Here it shows that how China want to maintain a close relationship with the Europe as well. It want to replace the US. The need of the US is for the Europe the same need that China want to fulfill by its own presence, and it wants to strengthen its presence. However, we have seen that due to the Ukrainian war, due to the Russian invasion to the Ukraine, there has been the winning out of the such influence. We have recently saw that the support from the Europe was going to the China, because there was a successful implementation of the many projects of the Belt and Road road initiative, but that all have been impacted by this Ukrainian war. So all that will be analyzed under this analysis. So let's start with the front page. The front page, all the news is mostly they are from the political news and the criminal news. The first news that is talking about the Karnataka, the news called to cancel Prajwal's diplomatic passport. So here you will see that the diplomatic passport is provided with the privilege and the immunity. There is the privilege that you don't need to visa to go into the other countries. You can immediately go, you can immediately come. There is also privilege against the arrest order and such other thing. So here, such diplomatic passport that is going to be cancelled, and it is going to be from the state government of the Karnataka. Here you will see that the next news is the violence erupted into the West Bengal over the death of the BJP supporter. Here they are fighting the BJP and the Trinamool Congress. There is the death of the one of the BJP supporter. After that there was the violence that erupted, and they are setting fire of the several houses, and they are attacking the houses. Okay, so this is going on, the West Bengal politics, the Kerala politics, where the entry of the BJP is taking place, or there is the fight between the two extreme parties that is going on. The next news, 6th page of the polling, already we have covered this. We will see that what is coming in the further news analysis, next day's news. Here you will see that the heads of the Iran-allied militant group meet in Tehran, discuss Gaza political situation. In this news, the most important thing you should know is here it is given that the leader of the Iran's led so-called axis of the resistance, they including the Hamas, Ismail Haniyeh. Okay, so here you will see that what is meant by the axis of resistance. This is the most important thing you know. This axis of resistance, those group and the army and the armed group involved, they are fighting against the Israel for the giving the statehood of the Palestine. They are fighting for the Palestinian cause. This include the Tehran, this Iran, and also the Hamas, Lebanon. Here in the Lebanon, the group is Hezbollah, Houthis into the Oman. Okay, Yemen. Okay, so here you should know these are the Lebanon's Hezbollah, Yemen Houthis, and even the Iraqi Shia group. So those groups, they are known as the axis of resistance. Here the name of these leaders has been given, such as the spokesperson of the Houthis, the name is Muhammad Abdul Salam, the deputy of the Hezbollah, Naim Qasim, and the leader of the Hamas, Haneh. All these names, UPSC can ask either giving these names, and they can ask that they belong from the which group. Maybe they can ask that what is meant by the axis of resistance. So you should know all these things. Next news again from the front page. This is the boiler blast, and there is the into the chemical plant. This is into the Dome Bivolvi. Okay, this is very close to the Mumbai, 30 kilometers from the Mumbai, and here you can give one of the example of the industrial disaster. So this is the example where there is the such type of the disaster that is occurring due to the either technical fault or the miscare or the mistake made by the human, those who are involved in these plants. Next important news that we are going to cover is the microplastic found into the fish into the Astamundi Lake. Astamundi Lake, this is into the Kerala, and this is the second largest lake. Okay, so you should know this is the Ramsar site. Ramsar site are those wetlands. Wetlands, what are the wetlands? Where their land and the water, they interact. This is the transitional area. They are mainly, there is the presence of the water, but as well as there is the some of the times there is the transition zone from the water zone, water bodies to the territorial land body that is mixing with each other. So they are the shallow water. They are not that much deep water. So please remember this. And there is a lot of diversity because this is the transitional zones, and that's why the diversity is very high. And these areas are threatened by the human activities. For example, this Ashtamundi lake, this is being threatened by the microplastic as well as the heavy metal. Here it has found that those fish who are found with the particles of the macrofauna, that is the microplastic, as well as the heavy metals such as the molybdenum, iron and the barium. So here other form of the microplastic such as the polyurethane and polyethylene. Okay, all these are the type of the plastic polymers. So this is all about, you should know from here. Next important news again from the editorial, and this is talking about an absconding MP, the colossal failure of the system. Here it is talking about what has failed here, colossal failure of the system, legal system. It is talking about the legal system has been failed because one of the person who has exploited and sexually assaulted so many women, near about 100 women, and it was happening from the 2021, and again there was the 3 years till now there was no case was filed against the person. Can you see that what is the status? 100 of the women, they have been exploited, assaulted, but no case until and unless there was some of the emergence of some of the chips, some of the hard disk that was there, pen drive, where there was this videos was there. And then all the things comes to the surface, and then you will see that even after that there was the failure of the legal system because the police was not able to arrest the person absconded to the foreign countries on the diplomatic this passport. Diplomatic passport that provide the immunity and privilege to those diplomats or the state officials. Whenever they visit to the other countries, there are some of the relaxation that is given. So here you will see that how he got the diplomatic passport. Okay, even he got the diplomatic passport, but how he was able to avoid such taking? Why not the police send the notice to the different authorities so that they could be careful? So this is all about, here it is given. The second thing is that here, even after all this thing, now the Interpol, the CPI has asked to the Interpol just under the blue corner notice. So you will see that this blue corner notice, this red corner notice, different type of the color codification is there with respect to the international police force that take care of the different type of the criminal who have absconding from their own countries. Here the blue, there is a difference between the blue corner notice and the red corner notice. The blue corner notice, that is just to know about the information and give information to the other countries, to know about the location, activities of those who has absconding and those who have the criminal background and some have done some crime. So here you will see that here it should have been given to the red corner notice. Red corners on notice are these are announced for the arrest. So the person is involved in such a grievous crime, and still you are giving the blue corner notice, not the red corner notice. So this has been questioned here. So here you will see that what are this type of the corner notice: red, yellow, blue, black, green, orange, purple, as per the gravity of the crime. Here the red is the one of this is taken into the grievous crime, where there is the nature of the crime is the very heinous, and here you will see that the red corner notice should have been given and announced. So why this is happening? Because the political background, the person who is associated with this crime, belong from the family that has given the chief minister, prime minister, MPs and the MLAs, and that's why this is happening. The person is so powerful that the 100 of women, those who have been exploited, they have not raised, they have not complained. That is the power. They must have complained, they must have raised their voice. It must have been prevented or suppressed by the police authority or the government authority due to the power politics and due to the power that has been into this family, and they are building into that area. So this will be here. You should know that. Beside that, here it is given that the SITs, the special investigation team that has been constituted by the state government, there is need for the more women, so that the more women officers, so that the investigation can reach out the women victims. So whenever the question comes, whenever you are going to write a ethics question, ethics answer, you should be very careful that whenever you are suggesting some of the cases where the women have been the victim, you must suggest the women officer and the women to investigate or the do different activities under that. Okay, so here you will see that in such type of the crime, generally what we see the delay, technical lacuna, poor investigation, and weak prosecution. And after that, these type of the criminals, they are released. They are not convicted, and that's why the conviction rate in India for the rape and other such heinous crime is high, and that's why the activities of such heinous crime is high. So you can mention all these things. There is no media trial. You can see that even there is a small thing that is happening, the media is making from just from a small point to the mountain. They are making the issue. But here, this is the so serious crime that has been happened, but the media is silent about that. And that's so the biasness of the media into the India. How they have to bring the news, that depend upon the political party and where the power is associated. So this is all about from this news article. So the most important part of this news analysis is this part where we are talking about the different type of the notice that is announced by the Interpol, so that the countries can be aware of the crime done by the person who is now absconding, and now that person is into the particular nation. Next important news that we are going to take is a visit to the preserve the China's interest into the Europe. Here it is talking about the Chinese President Xi Jinping. Now he is into the three countries of the Europe: France, Serbia, and Hungary, and they have the different nature. And here the writer is talking about this Chinese visit to these countries is to safeguard the interest of the China into the context of the so many of the negative campaign that is going against the China. The nature of these three countries, for example, the France that's prefer the strategic autonomy. It's take the decision irrespective of what the Europe is being done, or what the Europe is doing, or what the US and Canada is doing. That doesn't impact. Serbia, that is the non-European Union, and this is the close to Russia, as well as the Hungary. Hungary is also the very close to the China. This is the Serbia. Serbia, that is the second. This is the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Serbia is not a member of the NATO. Here it is the talking about the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. It means the NATO. So Serbia is not a member of the NATO, and Hungary, the third country that is very close to China, and many times it has blocked the resolution against the China into the Europe and the European Union. Here you will see that the world events and the visit goal. What is the goal? You will see that after COVID-19, there has been the negative sentiment against the China. And many times China has been forced to readjust its global investments goal because of the economic problem. And further you will see that there are the spiraling of the relationship into the negative domain. The Chinese and US trade war resulted into the technical blockade, the technological blockade, and the technological war from the US side, because US think that there is the Chinese technology that now taking the benefit, and that they are producing in the large amount into the low cost, and now they are dumping their product into the US, and that's why the US product is suffering. For example, here it is given that the electric vehicle, the technology mainly was with the US and the West. Now the production is being dominated by the China. So here you will see that to prevent all this thing. Okay, so prevent all this thing, there is the technological war from the West side. Here you will see that for this visit there are the three goals of the Xi Jinping. The first goal is that to prevent the EU from the getting too close to the US. Beside that, to avert a trade standoff between EU and the China, and in the last, the it aims to bolster the Chinese standing in Europe. The China want to replace the US. This want that whatever the US is doing into the Europe, neither China should do, because this EU is a very large market, particularly to those sophisticated those product now the Chinese are producing that is needed into the EU, and that's why it is very good market for the China. Okay, so here you will see that the Western alliance against the Russia, with the China having the sustained some of the collateral damage. There has been the negative impact of the Russia invasion on the Ukraine, and that is also impacting the Chinese relation, because the China is standing with the Russia, and here you will see that the many of the Eastern European countries, those who are not supporting those who are not that much against the China, now they are becoming the against the China. Okay, so here you will see that the direct or indirectly this is affecting the Chinese relation. For the France, if you will see that the France is very straightforward here, that France has just one aim, it is to trade interest. And now second thing is that it want to pressurize China to withdraw its support to the Russia. So here the weapons that is being provided to the Russia, that should be the withdrawn. Beside that, you will see that the European Commission President, the Ursula von der Leyen, he is of the view that there is need for a policy is needed in Europe to de-risking from the China by reducing the dependency on the Chinese import and the technology. You will see that such a type of the policy that India also want to create to reduce the import dependency on the China, because we have recently saw the import dependency on the China has increased. Despite we have lot of effort, the government is making a lot of effort, despite we have seen the dependency of India into the electronics market, electronics product, as well as the basic ingredient into the pharmaceutical industry that is dependent on the Chinese, India's dependency on the China. And that's why this type of the dependency you can see into the Chinese or by the European as well. You will see that the same thing, like the dumping that is being faced by the Europe as well, the India is facing the same thing. You can compare all these things. So Europe want a more balanced trade with the China. Okay. And now in all this thing, France is united with the European Union sentiment, as well as particularly here the example of the electrical vehicle has been given. Okay. Here you will see that in 2019, EU had recast its doctrine to define the China. How they have defined? The EU had defined the China as a partner for cooperation, positive, an economic competitor, here it is a bit from the center, and a systemic rival, here it is going to into the negative domain. And that's why the Chinese foreign minister Wang Yi has said that the relationship with the Europe and the China now is like the lights. There is a crossing where the lights are the simultaneously green, yellow and the red. You cannot understand whether I have to cross, you have to stay, or you have to prepare to cross. There is the three colors. Here they are talking about the cooperation. There is the competition at the rival. The Europe is considering the China in every domain, and that is a bit confusing as well. Okay. So Europe's China's policy between the economic opportunity, it sees there is the risk as well that is associated with the Chinese policy. Okay. So always there is the national security scrutiny is always there. Okay. Here, now the focus on the Hungary. Why the Hungary is important? First, before going to the Hungary, you should know that the Serbia. The Serbia is mainly dependent, Chinese dependency is on the mining of the copper and a steel processing plant here. This is the main thing. and there has been the consistent increase into the investment only due to these minerals. And you will see that there has been the further construction of the Belgrade Budapest high-speed railway project. So here you should know that where are these countries that we are talking. France here, and we are talking about the Hungary and here. Okay. So these countries are mainly associated with the east of the Eastern Europe. Here the China want to make a base so that they can enter into the west. They are here, the Chinese base is there. China want to make the base here by the its Belt and Road Initiative. BRI initiative, but the aiming to reach into these area because they are the more prosperous. There is this area can serve as the market for the sophisticated product from the China. So this is the main thing. This is the main aim of the China. So here you should be very clear about these countries. Now you will see that what is the Hungary? How the Hungary is helping? This is the closest allies to the China, and this is not taking whatever they are. This is not ready to take the idea and the opinion of the West Europe with respect to the China. They have always been very much close associated with the China as well as the Russia. Okay, so here you will see that between the Eastern and Western Europe, how the China is planning, as we already discussed that the China is planning to aiming the Eastern Europe to make its base, and that's why there is the initiative of the 17 Eastern European countries and the China that is known as the 17+1, and it is known as the China and Eastern European Community, and they are mainly aiming to reach the market into the West. That is here. Okay. However, all this thing, this effort by the BRI, Belt and Road Initiative, is now begin to pall. Here you should know about what is meaning of the begin to pall. It means that there is the reduction into the effectiveness. Now this effect is reducing. Okay. So now the main aim of this Chinese visit, the visit by the President Xi Jinping, is that to enhance all this relation, and mainly it is like a defensive stand of the China to preserve the Chinese interest into the Europe into the face of the adverse geopolitical situation into the Europe and the other Western countries into the context of the Ukrainian war. So this is all about from this news analysis. Next news that we are going to again take is it is from the editorial. This is with respect to the announcement into by the Prime Minister of the UK, and it will you will be surprised that generally in India it is taken to the pride that we have completed the 5 years of the tenure, but in the UK there is the reverse thing. The Prime Minister or the party into the power enjoy if they are going for the midterm election. So here we think that this midterm election means the election that is before the fixed tenure. For example, the Lok Sabha, the fixed tenure is the 5 year. And if there is the fall of the government due to the fall in the majority, or if the party into the power don't want to continue with the government, so there is the need for the midterm election. Midterm election means before the full term, before the 5 years of the term, you are going to going for the election after the 4 years or the 4 years, 6 months, 4.5 years. So this is the midterm. So generally there is the tradition into the UK. The Prime Minister take the pride whenever there is the midterm election that those Prime Minister, they can project that they are not power hungry. They are going to take the mandate of the people. And again, this is going on. There is a surprise announcement by the Prime Minister Sunak that they are going for the election, and here you will see that there is the negative sentiment against the Conservative, because the Conservative are continuously into the power for the last 14 years. Beside that, you will see that there has been the declaration or the study or there is the survey that says that the Conservative Party is going to lose the election by the margin of the 20%, a huge margin. However, there is the some of the thing that may have been the cause for this announcement. There is the reduction into the inflation rate that has been reduced to the 2.3%. There has been the continuous positive performance by the Sunak cabinet into the post-COVID-19 scenario, and there has been the asylum agreement with the Rwanda. So all these things that may be the cause for this early announcement of the election. Other news already that has been we have covered into the Stoughton news that the Ireland, Norway, and Spain they have supported for they have supported for the statehood of the Palestinian, full-fledged statehood into the UN. Maybe this could have been for the give a signal to the Prime Minister of the Israel that they are not taking whatever he is thinking, but the other countries, even the Europe is thinking that the solution for the Palestinian and Israeli issue is the two-state solution, that there is need for the two-state, one is Palestine, other is the Israel. So this has been that, and yes, there has been the applications against the crime, a case against the war crime for the Prime Minister, against the Prime Minister and the Defense Minister of the Israel, as well as the many of the authority from the Hamas as well. So this is all about from this news article, and we have covered most of the relevant news from the today's newspaper. So here we will conclude our session. Thank you for joining the session. All the best. Jai Hind.